Go, Mark.
Hey ballers, welcome to If These Balls Could Talk, where we talk about the latest in sports, tech, and pop culture. This is Mark along with John and Pete, and we would like to welcome to the podcast Mr. Paul Errante. Good evening, Paul, and how are things with you?
Hey, Paul.
Hey, Paul.
What's up? Everything's good. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate this, guys.
We appreciate having you.
This has been a long time coming. We've been someone trying to get someone like you on the show for a while, Paul, and so glad you could make it. As a kind reminder, if you like what you hear or see, please like us or hit that subscribe button. Or as John and Pete hate to hear me say, tickle that little bell.
Oh my God.
Nope.
I'm getting creepier and creepier now.
Pete,
when I say
why
that.
does that
you
get worse?
started this bell tickle thing, and I don't
Yeah,
think I like
I think
it.
I said it
Technically
once
Pete's
as
fault.
a joke.
This is
and then
technically Pete's fault.
It got worse. Mark said it every time.
John, how you
And
been?
I'm stuck on the bell tickling. I'm tell you what.
You're just thinking of tickling bells?
Not something you want to be stuck on.
I used to do the finger gesture
like
too,
it.
and that makes it creepier, right?
What did you say,
right.
Paul?
I
Are you
like
gonna do
it.
it?
I think you should run with it. Don't let him stop you.
All right.
Don't let
There
me
you
stop
go.
you. That's
You
right.
heard it from Paul.
I gotta be me.
So, guys, I had a tragedy that just happened to me. I opened this beautiful mini bottle of Johnny Walker, and I took the top off, and I pulled it, and I'm moving all my shit around to get ready for the show, and I spilled some of it. And then I was just like, I'll be back. I have to save my work computer that now smells like scotch, so whatever.
It's
You know,
sanitized now.
Yeah.
Sanitized for our pleasure. No,
I hope
it's
you
good.
grabbed a
Everything.
straw.
I did. I licked my fingers. Hey, I don't know. Work's good. Life's good. I feel good. Still losing weight. Still
Good for
trying
you.
to get healthy. Still trying to get mentally healthy, which is always tough when you're trying to also like keep everybody afloat. I don't know. It's going well. How are you, Mark? How's the secret mission?
Secret mission's going well. I wasn't too late this
You're
week.
still pretty late, man.
I
Sorry,
was late. I was
guys.
still late.
Everybody who's listening, sorry that it's 9:47 and that we're 15 minutes late. We were a half hour late last week, so this is better.
This is way better.
So bad last week. So
way
bad
better.
last week.
Way better.
But anyway, no, it's going really well. One thing I had. So what I'm doing is a little bit of a physical activity. Another little clue about what the secret mission is.
I still think you're pregnant.
That would be super physical. That would be super physical. I've actually been losing weight too, so it's definitely not the pregnant.
Yes.
But so I play Paul. You don't know this. These guys know, but I play adult co-ed kickball. And last Friday, I actually didn't have my own cleats, so I ended up borrowing some cleats from someone else. And unfortunately, now these were football cleats, so they were a little bit of a little different style. I'm used to soccer cleats, but the football cleats are supposed to give you a little bit more ankle support. But ironically enough, I ended up having a little mild sprain in my ankle, and I've been kind of dealing with that a little bit. And it was a little bit hard to run, and a little bit hard to do the super secret mission. But I don't know.
It's definitely dancing.
Okay,
but
so
anyway,
Mark,
I have a really
yeah.
important question about this. That you keep saying adult co-ed kickball, and why aren't you just saying kickball?
Because I don't want people to think I'm playing kickball with like grade schoolers.
So why you're an adult? Why would you be playing kickball with grade schoolers?
Exactly. I just want to make it absolutely clear.
Okay.
I am not playing with little kids.
I will say, so Steph was in a kickball league years ago.
Nope.
It's intense.
Nope.
Pete, how you been?
Brightness
Good.
just exploded. Look at this lighting I have.
But
Yeah, I know.
you
You're
look
like angelic.
glowing. What the?
My laptop just hit auto brightness. It's like I will be light forever.
God. No, things
Anyway,
are going
Pete, what's
well.
up?
Still working on a pretty cool project. I don't know if I can say what platform.
Does it have a
it's for.
twist?
No,
A twist?
no, it is very straightforward, but
Good.
it's a very successful franchise at this point. We'll say, I would say,
Awesome.
fairly long running.
Is it DuckTales?
Woo! No, no, it's not.
That was awesome.
High five, Peter.
That was pretty good.
Virtual high five. It deserves a virtual high five. We need a high five sound on the soundboard, I think.
Yeah,
I think it's time. It's time to invest in Boost and get more soundboard sound.
I thought you were going to say invest
we
in boobs.
we might be
I'm
able to
like, yes,
retire
I'm
some of
always
the
up for
next
that.
we might be able to retire some of the next topic sounds now.
Maybe.
That I'm actually prepared with.
You always have to
next
save
topics.
the DuckTales one though.
Woo-woo.
Yeah, that's a good one. We should save that one. Maybe we'll do that for one of our next topics. Anyway,
There you go.
let's get to know our friend Paul, shall we? So, Paul, as a dedicated athlete, could you give us a little bit more detailed breakdown of your daily training routine, including any specific exercises or techniques that you focus on? And how do you manage to juggle this intense training schedule with other aspects of your life, such as family, work, and maybe even some education? And how does this impact your this mindset impact your work as an MMA trainer and coach? That was a lot.
All right. All right.
Multi-part question.
That was a lot.
My training is usually like 3 times a day. I try to get strength training in the morning, cardio.
What time in the morning?
As early as I can.
Yeah.
Really.
I hate mornings.
6 or 7 if I can. A perfect day, and then 12 or 1 or 2 I get some cardio in, and then like 8:30 I'll 7:30 I'll get some like fight training in, whether it be like pad work or bag work or just shadow boxing or sparring or rolling, doing jiu-jitsu or something.
Oh wow. Could I ask for cardio, like what does a fighter have to do? Because I mean, like, I did track for many years and still into that, but I imagine it's like, is it intervals? Is it more sprinting? Like, you need to have endurance when you're fighting. So like, what kind of drills do you do there?
It's everything. You need long distance cardio. You need short distance, like fast burst cardio.
Yeah. You essentially need to be able to sprint for 5 miles, right?
Yeah, right. I was going to say, this sounds like training for like the 400 or 800 meter, where it's just like you're literally going till you fall over.
Well, you only have to perform for 5 minutes, right? 3 5-minute rounds. So you got to sprint for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Really.
I mean, that is.
But anything,
yeah.
Swimming, elliptical, bag work is very cardiovascular intensive. My favorite is like sparring because it doesn't feel like working out and it's fun.
That's probably the closest thing you can get to like the real thing too.
Yeah, but you don't want, like,
what does that look like?
All in the gym.
Guys in the gym, like, what are you guys doing when you're sparring?
It depends. We could be like light sparring, technical sparring, or like hard sparring, where it's like kind of like just basically a fight.
Yeah.
But you got to mix it up. You can't go hard every day, or you're gonna get hurt and worn down and reduce your performance. So you got to have light days and yeah.
Do you mix up
hard to balance.
Oh, I bet.
Oh, yeah.
Do you mix up the cardio routine just because it keeps you motivated to do it because you don't want to do the same thing, or is there actually a purpose to mixing up your cardio?
You kind of want to get good at something like running, and you want to once you start to plateau, then you can switch to like swimming, right? Or jumping rope, or burpees, or HIIT training.
Right. Trying to keep your muscles like infused, right? So that they have to grow and adapt and get better.
Yeah, so I'll do like treadmill focus, like cardio, just running for like 3-4 weeks until I feel like I can do that very easily. I can sprint 5 minutes uphill, and then I'll switch it to something, and then I'll switch this to something that I may not be used to, and it might be simple like bicycling or rowing.
Yep.
And it's more difficult because I'm not used to it.
Does your routine change, like your like status quo everyday routine to stay in great shape? Does that change like when a fight's coming up? Do you do different stuff?
Yeah, I definitely ramp it up. Like 8 to 12 weeks before a fight, I'll start like really ramping it up.
Okay.
And then like I'll start to slow down like 2 weeks out.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah, just to.
So from 8 to 12 to 2, so you get a like maybe like 10 weeks sometimes of hard training.
Damn.
So going back to one of the
before.
Yeah. Going back to one of the other questions, how do you do that work-life balance kind of with all this that's going on?
It's really hard to balance. You got to make a lot of sacrifices. I don't think if you want to become extremely successful in something like this, you can have a balance. You got to make a lot of sacrifices, you know?
Because you're very dedicated to it, right? You're pretty much dedicated your whole life to it, right?
I've been training since 13.
Wow.
Oh wow, yeah. It
And
takes
How old are you
yeah.
now, if you don't mind us asking?
29.
Rock and roll.
So not old yet.
No.
Unlike us.
You're definitely not as old as we are. You're still in your 20s. So
Yeah.
Well, I can only compete until about like late 30s, you know?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, that's about that time when a lot of athletes kind of hang it up, at least from like a professional standpoint.
Well, you just don't recover as fast.
Yeah. Unless you're Jaromir Jagr, and then you can play professional ice
Unless
hockey
you're
till
Jaromir
you're
Jagr.
55.
Yami
and it
Yager's
doesn't
not getting his
matter.
head kicked in.
True.
I mean, like a little. It is hockey.
I guess.
Not blatantly.
You want to move?
Yeah.
no one's
so
blatantly
one of
aiming.
them.
Speaking
no one's
of
blatantly
getting heads kicked in,
Hey, segue guy.
so reflecting on your journey in competitive MMA, what fight stands out to you as the most demanding, both physically and mentally? And I have a side question for that. And can you share some key takeaways from that fight that have shaped you into the fighter that you are today? Like I know you have a winning record, I think, as far as I could tell, right?
4-2.
Yep.
Hell
Nice.
yeah. That's awesome.
My first fight was probably the most mentally stressful.
I
Just
bet.
because it was like in front of a crowd, under the bright lights.
Was it kind of just nerves?
Whole bunch of
doing
firsts.
something
Whole
new?
bunch of firsts.
Yeah.
Where do they do that in Westchester? Is that still just like Westchester County Arena?
They don't do it in Westchester. I've fought in Queens. I fought in
Okay.
Long Island. Yeah, Westchester really doesn't have MMA events except for like at the county center, like maybe once
Yeah.
or twice a year.
Okay.
Even though it's really like big in the tri-state area, like Westchester doesn't have too many MMA events.
Well, popularity over the last 5 years has ramped up like crazy.
Yeah.
Incredibly, yeah. It used to be
Yeah.
like kind of taboo to be into cage fighting.
Right.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it really until some of that started getting televised, no one knew what it was. Right? It was like boxing was the dominating fighting sport, and you know, professional wrestling and all that. But then it was like, oh, what is this? This is kind of combining aspects of both and more. So with that,
It definitely exploded since it's been televised for sure.
Oh yeah. Without a doubt.
So when you finished that first fight, were you thinking like, oh, what have I gotten into, or were you like, okay, like I could do this?
You probably felt like Superman jacked up on adrenaline. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
right. I mean, and I think you had won your first match, right?
Yes.
From what I
Look at
quickly
Pete
looked
doing
at.
his
Yeah, I did some
research.
little research.
Fuck yeah, man. Great job. We're such good journalists.
I try.
Watch any?
What's that?
Pete, did you watch any?
No, I didn't have a chance because I just wanted to look up and just make sure that I had seen some. I'd love to watch one though. That'd be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Where can we watch some of your
Yeah,
previous
where can we
fights?
find them?
On YouTube.
Oh, they
Nice.
are on there. Okay.
Yeah, you just type in like
everything's on
Paul
YouTube.
Errante MMA.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to. Yeah, I need to. check
Everybody's
that out.
listening. Go check that shit out. Go
Yeah.
follow Paul on Instagram.
Yes.
Yes.
What are you
Watch
going to be? Let's see. We're at 303 right now. You're going to be on UFC 306. No, not yet, man.
Watch this man kick the
no.
crap out of other men.
No, I
Oh, yes.
got him in the professional league first.
How does that work? How do you succeed in MMA and eventually qualify for the UFC? How does that work?
You gotta beat up some dudes.
Like any random dude on the street?
Yeah,
No, other dudes have to be watching.
Right.
There's a
Yeah,
lot of
you
people on the
you gotta get some like some finishes in the cage under some like premier like professional leagues.
Okay.
They have a good amount of professional leagues in New York. And you rack up a bunch of wins and you wait till they come into town and you try to get a fight on like a different pro. You would try to go to like the PFL or Bellator. and then you would try to get to the UFC.
Sweet. So I mean, just like any minor league professional sport, you just have to succeed in different leagues and eventually make your way to the top.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
This
is that the plan?
I was going to say. Go ahead,
Mark.
Mark.
Go ahead. No, you go.
All right. I was going to say this is sort of
so
organically transitioning into John's question, but I had one more thing to ask you about the mental part of it too.
You got tons of time, Pete.
But no, Mark was going to say something.
This is your question.
Hey, Mark, fix your mic while you're waiting.
No, I heard it this time.
I did hear it disconnect. Got this fancy mic, and you got to get him a better USB cable. All right. So while Mark's getting his stuff reset there.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, we got you. There you go. That was quick. About the mental part of it, I mean, you had said like that first fight was a little bit nerve-wracking. When you fight, you know, you have weeks and weeks of intense physical and mental preparation. You're probably going through so many things in your head while you're training. When that bell rings and you start live in that fight, like, are you thinking, or is it just like, I can't think, there's no time for that, I just have to do instinct, like trust that your training was good? Like, how do you approach that? Or do you even, is it just kind of a blur, or like, are you able to kind of methodically think through a fight as you're going?
It's both. Like, I'm definitely just relying on instincts for the most part, but I am thinking of a few things. My last fight, I knew the guy was going to take me down, and I knew I had to reverse the takedown, and I constantly thought that in my head for the first round. And when he eventually shot in and took me down, I reversed it. That was
Turn your
that
sound
was
up, John.
something. That was something that I had learned the hard way from previous fights. You know, I had known that I get taken down easier than I'd like.
Okay.
So that I gotta reverse it, and I had to like constantly think that in my head. But for the most part, it's all instincts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am thinking of a few things, like
Okay.
reverse the takedown when he gets it.
And you prepare yourself for all those kind
Right,
of scenarios,
yeah,
I'm
right.
guessing, in your training. So it's kind of ingrained in your head.
That's what I'm thinking. It's
Yeah.
kind of like when you get on a golf course and you're like, I don't want to overthink this, but there's maybe like one or two pointers, and I'm like, okay, you got to remember this one thing.
Yes, because MMA is exactly like golf.
Yes, very similar amount of intensity.
Depends on what county's in Ireland.
Right? Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah. All right. So, John, you
Yeah,
were
it's
already
definitely like that.
yeah, and John, so you were talking about aspirations of where to go from here.
I was prepping my question like Pete does. He taught me very well. So
Segue.
looking ahead, what are the major milestones you've set for yourself in the world of MMA and professional fighting? What strategies are you implementing to ensure you reach those goals while maintaining your performance and health in such a mentally and physically demanding sport?
I just I gotta assess where I'm at and assess where I want to be and how to get there. So
Uh-oh.
Oh no, we lost Paul. Well, hopefully he'll be able to jump back on here.
The internet.
I know. But this has
The
been fascinating.
internet.
I love hearing about this stuff, especially when it's a sport that I've never competed in, to hear similarities and differences between ones I have. Even if they seem very different.
All right. Sorry, everyone. We seem to have lost Paul for a little bit. I mean, none of us are professional athletes or trying to be professional
Well, we
athletes.
can come back too once he gets back.
Yeah. No, we can certainly circle back to this question.
I'm just trying to fill airtime, dead airtime, guys.
La 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 la.
Have any of
So
you
why
ever
don't we go
been
to the
in,
top? Go ahead, Pete.
I was going to say, have any of us ever been in a fight?
Like
I had a
real fight?
retired New York.
Yeah.
I had a retired New York State police officer punch me in the face twice.
Oh,
we talk about that.
Right.
We did talk about that.
That was that was right in Malta, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was right in Malta. A little
Oh
circle
my-
in Malta. He was like, took offense to me driving. So yeah, okay, that was cool.
Yeah, like what?
Then I swear to God, he all assumptions, but I think he wanted me to start some shit because he just stood there and just kept going. I was just like, I gotta leave. This dude wants to kill me.
Yeah. Man.
What does this mean? Oh, I was sorry, my cursor was over something.
Oh.
All right. We would like to thank this week's fake sponsor, Sonic Boom headphones.
Sonic Boom.
Experience the stadium atmosphere right from your ears with Sonic Boom headphones, built for bass, clarity, and power, just like your favorite athletes. Sonic Boom.
Sonic Boom. There he is.
Yeah.
Hear the roar.
The roar.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
That's all
Right.
good. We did a fake ad, Paul. We got fake ads.
We're good.
No. What was the ad for?
Sonic
a
Boom headphones.
Yeah. Totally not a real sponsor, but you could be.
But it could be if somebody were to invent
If you-
Sonic Boom headphones,
if you
patent
invented
it,
Sonic
and
Boom.
then
Anyway.
contact
Look at
us.
you filled that dead air with a fake ad, Mark. You're such
Perfect.
a great
Look at that.
journalist. Love it.
Dead air is the
So,
worst.
wrapping back, we'll give you some time back since we got that piece out of the way. Aspirations in fighting, how do you get there? And let's just add another thing. What do you tell kids that come into your gym and want to start? What does that advice look like?
Yeah. So what I was getting towards was like basically I just need to get a few finishes in some Premier Pro League, go to the PFL, try and kick ass there, and then get into like the UFC or Bellator whenever they come to New York. They look for local fighters.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's really cool.
So it's
They're
like they're
actively
scouting,
seeking them?
basically.
Yeah, every time Bellator or UFC comes to New York and they fight in Madison Square Garden or Barclays Center or whatever,
hmm
they always get local fighters.
Well, that's cool.
Well, it suits them to find talent for sure.
Yeah.
Anywhere they go, they get local fighters.
Nice.
That's super cool. How do you try for something like that? You stand in line, you do like a just like
You gotta
a try
stand
for any- Yeah.
You got to stand out. You got to. They're gonna contact you.
That makes
what do
sense.
you? Yeah. So what do you feel? How do you feel that you stood out from the crowd? Then was there one particular move that you have that's unique, or are you like?
You got to get finishes.
Uh-huh.
Either got to have dominant performances for the entire duration of the fight if you don't finish, or you got to get finishes, whether submissions or knockouts.
Something
an-
impressive.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite move?
Crotch sniffing? No, I'm kidding.
Let's hope not.
Oh, if I was
Well,
cooking
okay,
up
so
the-
I'd imagine
ready?
You probably
When I'm wrestling them up against the fence, my head is usually in the groin area. And then I try to
So
No,
you're
so, like-
serious, but you're not serious.
Let's be specific
Yeah.
though. Are you like a striker? Do you like submissions? Like what do you do specifically as a fighter?
I use my wrestling a lot, and I use I usually finish with like a submission.
Okay, and that's your jiu-jitsu training then.
Yeah. I think it's shown in my fights that my jiu-jitsu is better than my striking for sure.
Okay, sweet.
I
And like
really-
a guy
I
like
can't wait to watch these now. It's gonna be cool.
we're gonna make Pete a UFC fan.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite fighter of all time?
That's a difficult question.
Hey, fuck yeah, that's how we roll.
I don't think I have one. I would say I have a few. I don't know if you've ever heard of Fedor Emelianenko.
Probably not, but let's talk about him.
He fought like in the 90s and early 2000s. He's from Russia. He's a heavyweight. He doesn't have like impressive like physique. He kind of has a dad bod, but man, he was like one of the best heavyweights ever.
All right. Hey.
That's super cool. I mean, they still do like heavyweight matches in UFC, and they look completely differently than like the cruiserweights and the welterweights, right? You have like just heavy hits and heavy grapples, and instead of like guys that are bouncing around.
The fights look different, but the physiques are kind of like they're ripped. Like the heavyweights are kind of ripped nowadays.
Yeah,
All right.
scary dudes.
I mean,
man.
conditioning
Jesus
is
Christ.
getting better and better, right? As decades go
Yeah.
on.
And
Nutrition is
what's your
science now.
What's your thoughts about retired UFC fighters going to the WWE, like Ken Shamrock and Ronda
That's
Rousey?
amazing. Absolutely
Yeah?
amazing.
Hell yeah,
I
that's
think they make more money going into the WWE than in their UFC career, or with how they would have made in retirement.
Yeah.
right.
Um,
Right.
And they're
Makes
getting
sense,
hit
yeah.
less.
Well,
Right.
and they're getting hit less aggressively,
Well,
right?
yeah,
It's
it's this
you
shit,
know,
it's
some
less
shit
try to
still
take it.
happens.
yeah.
It's probably a tougher. I don't know, because you gotta perform every weekend, and I don't know. It's very difficult. The WWE. I don't undermine it, but yeah, I think it's amazing that opportunity is there for
Yeah.
retired.
Yeah. Well, now,
athletes.
especially with the merger, are you a fan of the merger? Like, professionally?
WME and
We might be
IMG,
talking about this a
big.
little later in the show.
Hey. It's one of Mark's topics. That's what that means. We're going to talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
Topical.
Anyway,
I think it's a good thing.
all
You
right.
Nice.
think it's a good thing? That's awesome, man.
We'll talk about that a little more. Anyway, gentlemen,
Mark,
are we
be
ready
more
to kick
polite.
off the
Jesus
shindig?
Christ.
Well,
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil the topic that we might be talking about a little later.
I was just gonna say, speaking of topics, let's get going here. Let's make some good ones.
Hell yeah.
Well, it's time for the first topic, and we're ready to fight.
Uh,
I had
love
another
it.
one in my mind, but it's I can't get the timing in
You
my
got it.
mind.
You should have done the second verse, man.
I have one that's not.
I can only do so much, or we have to pay.
No, we don't have to pay. Nobody's listening.
Anyway, while there may be no games going on right now, the juggernaut that is the National Football League stays in the headlines even in its offseason. Now, the draft has come and gone, and for some reason, the Bears decided to already announce the worst secret in the world, that Caleb Williams will be their starting quarterback.
What?
I know. Shocker. But another quarterback in the same division is the focus of this topic in Jared Goff. Now, he was once the laughingstock of the NFC West after an abysmal effort in the Super Bowl against the mighty Patriots. He then got traded to the lowly Detroit Lions, but he has since lived a resurgence in his career with the balls to the wall approach by head coach Dan Campbell. And the underdogs from the Motor City were pretty close to making the Super Bowl last year. So they decided to reward him by giving him a 4-year, $212 million contract.
So much fucking money.
Holy
Jesus
shit.
Christ.
So everyone, is Jared Goff really worth $53 million per year? And yes, that math is correct.
I think the actual question in this, Mark, is Jared Goff the second best quarterback in football? Because he's the second highest paid one.
Second
Behind-
to
Cool Joe Burrow, baby. Cool Joe Burrow.
But I mean,
I had this topic too, by the way. Go ahead,
Did you
go ahead, Pete.
did I mess that up?
No, you talked. This is the Jared Goff topic.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I
you
did
said
tell
it.
you
We're
guys.
good, man.
Right.
We're good. I
So-
also have that stat.
Yeah. No, it's a big thing, and I mean, it doesn't mean that he's obvious. We know, right? It doesn't mean that he's the second best quarterback or getting paid. It's just the contract. Anytime there's a new contract, it's always the biggest one, right? If it's a reasonably good franchise player, the cap's always going up, especially the NFL. I mean, these players, it gets more and more. But I will say, much to the chagrin of John, that I mean, $53 million for Jared Goff seems about right when compared to the $40 million for Danny Dimes.
the Danny Dimes line.
Hey, man.
Sorry.
Nobody even likes you.
I don't know.
So, I guess one of the more important questions I think in this is, can anyone, I say this for the 49ers all the time, but can anyone quarterback for Dan Campbell, a really well-coached Lions with Dan Campbell, and throwing the ball to guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown and TJ Hawkinson, or not TJ Hawkinson, their tight end who is very good.
The Hadhawk. Oh, Laporta.
They had Hawk for a little
LaPointe.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Or the point, yeah.
it is a well-coached, well-ran, well-passed team. So Goff
With
is
a good running game as well. Remember, they
right.
got Jahmyr Gibbs.
Goff is completely passable for a very good skill player team.
But
and
$53 million.
that's
is
too
a
much
lot.
fucking money.
And this
It's
is his
too much
stat
fucking
line
money.
last year. 4,575 yards, 30 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. That's worth $53 million?
I mean, that's not bad,
It's
though, honestly.
more offensive numbers than Danny Dimes.
Okay, again. All right, we're going to compare him
This
to
is
Danny
not the-
Dimes.
Yeah. Hey,
Okay, so what's also really interesting about the Lions' moves this year is they also gave Amon-Ra St. Brown, the Sun God, a 4-year, $120 million extension. So I mean, they're in, they're ready.
They're investing.
They're
investing.
They're investing. I mean,
They're
and you
going to be in
keep-
trouble in 3 years, but yeah.
yeah, but I mean,
that's true. That's true.
he's he's their best skill player, I'd argue, right now. So I think
They do have a
worth
lot
it.
of people on their rookie deals right now. A lot of very important people, like Jahmyr Gibbs, like we mentioned. Amon-Ra St. Brown, technically still on his rookie deal.
I mean, he's not anymore.
Who's the kid from Michigan, the defensive end? I can't think of what his name is, but he's on a rookie deal as well. So they made a lot of big moves. Now, keep in mind these were all. Well, I guess not. They were very smart in the draft. So, maybe they should reap the rewards. But again, $53 million.
It's a lot.
$53 million.
But I mean, the cap's going to be what, like 280 million probably next year.
You see, they also
almost 20% of the cap.
It is.
They also rejiggered their
easily 20% of the team's win total.
They also rejiggered their uniforms. They're ready. I mean, they feel.
Oh, they're all in.
Yeah,
AFC,
they're all in.
AFC Championship, right?
And I mean, think about it. If Dan Campbell wasn't such an asshole and refused to kick a field goal, they probably would have won that game.
They probably would have won that game.
I mean, like, right?
Yep.
They were a great team. I rode Amon-Ra in fantasy. I think that they're going to be great this year. They're super, super high octane. Super fun to watch. Is there $53 million in Michigan? Maybe that's all the money Michigan makes. But
yeah, but but there's shared revenue in the NFL. So
yeah, that's true. That's true.
Paul, do you have an NFL team?
I just whatever the New York team is, I'll vote for them.
Yeah, just like that New York sports fan.
Go big Blue.
New York is good. If New York is good, then I'm a fan.
So, blue or green, though, man? Blue or green? It's an important question.
Oh,
you know what?
Giants or Jets?
I've flip-flopped back and forth.
No.
So I don't know, but right now I say blue because I don't think the Jets have done anything really recently.
And they also employ the worst human in history.
Yeah, they have a broken Aaron Rodgers right now.
In Aaron Rodgers.
John loves Aaron Rodgers. They're BFFs.
Right.
And I'm being
person.
incredibly sarcastic with when I
No. Okay, I have a question about that. Why the fuck does the NFL, and I mean that, why the fuck does the NFL give Aaron Rodgers, who broke his Achilles within 10 seconds last season, Monday Night Football in 2024-25?
I don't know.
People want to see him.
They want to
break
see
his Achilles
the
again?
other Achilles break.
I'm like, Jesus Christ.
It's fine. He has he got the magic potion.
No, the magic potion. Exactly. He was ready to play after week 12 last year.
Yeah, Paul, did you see there was like a clip of some footage where I swear to God,
it looked like, should explain it to him.
Okay, it looked like something from a video game, like a magic potion decanter that fell out of Aaron Rodgers' bag when he was on the field recovering. And I'm like, what is he taking magic potions and shit to heal his Achilles faster? What's happening?
I mean, here's the thing, he definitely was.
But I didn't see the video.
Yeah, it was like a quick little thing, and he just hurried and picked it up. I was like, what was in that thing?
He probably got it from a wizard.
Seriously.
And knowing Aaron Rodgers, the wizard he met under a bridge.
Yep.
Because that's where Aaron Rodgers lives. Because he's a troll. Sorry, bro.
Every NFL topic devolves into John trashing Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. We might not even talk about football, and he's like, you know who I hate? Aaron Rodgers.
I support the hate.
Well, no, this fucking guy, right, who used to be
John's
an American treasure, the discount double check guy, right? He just went crazy.
That is a truth fact.
He grew all his hair out. He doesn't shower anymore, and he steals money from the New York Jets. Jesus Christ.
Didn't he live in the dark too for 4 days?
Yeah, he did it. Just fucking rich people, okay? Aaron Rodgers decides that he doesn't like the way the 2022 season ends, so he's going to take a darkness retreat. Yep. True story. This actually happened. And Aaron Rodgers was like, I'm going to stay in the dark until I'm more centered. Fuck that guy. Jesus Christ. All right.
I support it. I think maybe I need a darkness retreat.
Maybe we're missing out on this, I guess.
Wait, what is this on the soundboard here?
I don't know.
Yeah, it is.
Oh,
wait. That sounds like someone getting spanked. Though.
I was gonna say that sounds a little too
I just added
S&M-ish.
it, baby. We're gonna do another one. This is what I think about Aaron Rodgers.
Sounds violent.
You told me to find a high five. I love Googling free sounds. That's another free sound, baby.
Amazing. All right.
Wait, I'm having trouble. It's all good. All right. Mark, do a thing because we're at time. And I'll find a topic.
Never mind, I'll find the next topic for you.
Okay, Adele.
Nice. That's really
I
good.
love it.
So talking about crazy and leaning into our guest, Mike Tyson and the Boxing Commission have been drawing criticism from the boxing world for the upcoming match he has with YouTuber Jake Paul. We know we've talked about this, but we're going to keep talking about it because it's interesting.
I love
Hey,
this
it's still in the
topic.
headline.
While Paul is only 9-1 in official matches, most of that success has been against celebrities and middling fighters. While Tyson's 50-6 record with 44 knockouts is impressive, he hasn't been active in 20 years. So former champ Deontay Wilder stated recently this week, "I don't want the last thing I remember of Tyson is him getting knocked out by a YouTuber." And he went on to disagree with the commission for licensing the match and talking about how Tyson could easily get injured at his age and his removal from boxing. And so we have been very clear on the show about our thoughts of Tyson winning easily, but however, with the rising professional concern and the 30-year-old age gap, how smart is this match for Tyson? Paul, as the expert, what do you think?
Well, I wouldn't say expert, but
Hey, man, more than us.
More than us.
you know, Tyson is always going to be a deadly puncher, right? He's always probably going to be able to knock
vicious.
someone out. But Jake Paul has become a pretty decent boxer, right? If you just remove like his YouTube and like the person he is, right? He's now like what's the record? 9-1, you said?
9-1. When I checked it earlier.
pretty good.
But yeah.
No, and he's beat former UFC champions, you know, like real fighters, real like deadly fighters, not boxers.
Right.
When he did fight a boxer, Tommy Fury, he lost.
Yeah, his only loss is to Tommy Fury, who is Tyson Fury, heavyweight champion of the world's brother, right?
Yes, and he's gonna fight Usyk. Did you guys know he's gonna fight Usyk Alexander soon?
Oh shit, really? Jake Paul?
Is that before the Tyson
Oh,
fight or
Tyson
after?
Fury.
Oh, Tyson
Oh,
Fury.
Tyson Fury is.
Tyson Fury's
Gotcha.
gonna fight Usyk Alexander.
Ooh, we might be talking
that's-
about that later too.
Hey, nice.
I cannot wait for that.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
super
Tyson
concerned.
Fury's a monster.
Yeah, a serious monster. I mean, he beat Vladimir Klitschko in like the 90s.
Right.
Mhm.
Oh,
was
so
it the
he's been
90s?
fighting a
Early
long
2000s.
time. Okay.
He got the championship from like Vladimir Klitschko, like I think late 90s, early 2000s.
Wow. How old is he now?
Tyson Fury, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know if it was quite that old because I think Lennox Lewis
Tyson
was
Fury,
like,
Vladimir Klitschko was 2015,
yeah.
according to the internet.
What? 2015 he beat him?
Yeah, 9 years ago. I mean, it's still a long time.
Yeah.
He's been the champ for 9 years,
Tyson Fury beat Vladimir Klitschko in 2015?
according to YouTube. Or not YouTube, according to
It
Google.
seems a lot longer ago, right?
Wow.
Unless
I
it
thought
was-
that was like 2001.
Oh wow. Unless that was a rematch.
No,
No.
that wasn't.
I don't know.
That's fine.
Yeah.
It does seem that. I mean, Paul, you're gonna learn this when you get to be our age. Oh my God, I'm that old man on the couch right now
Yeah.
saying when I was her age.
Yeah.
By the way, Tyson
Time
Fury,
just
35
flies
years
by.
old.
35. Okay.
Yes, he is up there for.
But
for
he's
a
still. I
boxer.
mean, that's still on the back end of your prime.
So I guess the question is, and I think my understanding of the Mike Tyson Jake Paul fight is they shortened the rounds to 2 minutes. I mean, it's still a long fucking time though.
Yeah, eight rounds, 2 minutes. Yep.
Okay.
So how cardiovascularly, I guess that's pretty hard still. I bet, right?
Keep in
for
mind-
sure, definitely. It's
Yeah, keep
difficult.
and keep in mind Tyson's fights, even when he was younger in his 20s,
They didn't last
were all that long.
No.
There's a few wars he's been in.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of them finish early. I hope he's not like intentionally going in there like ready to like go out on his shield to pass the torch to the younger generation and give Jake Paul like a really like boost in name and really like put himself out there. I hope that's not his idea, like trying to just get a big payday and put
Yeah.
over Jake Paul.
So I actually initially thought that was going to be when it was just an exhibition. I thought this was going to be a little bit of a sham. Like they're doing an excellent job on social media hyping this fight up. And I mean, I'm seeing some of the training videos that Tyson's putting out, and my God, that man is still scary.
Well, he looks like a monster, just so fast and such a striker, like such a hard puncher, and the thing, at least that we as complete novices and noobs have seen it. I mean, it looks like Jake Paul's going to get killed. Like it looks like he's going to get killed. But the thing I'm learning and just prepping for this show, I mean, Jake Paul has 3 inches on Mike Tyson, and I mean, I think that really matters too, because Tyson's not.
And 30 years.
Well, 30 years. So 3 inches in 30 years. The fact of it that Tyson's 57, I mean, I feel like he could just literally run out of gas if he doesn't punch his head off in the first round.
And that's one thing I have against Jake Paul is the fact that he's not really fighting anyone in their primes. Like he fought Floyd Mayweather too, but when Floyd was past his prime.
I think that was Logan Paul.
Was it Logan Paul that fought Floyd? I knew it was one of them, but it was again, it was way past like Floyd had technically retired. So I mean, they hadn't. So Jake Paul to me hasn't really fought anyone legitimate. Tyson is still really not all that legitimate, but he's the closest thing I think.
Yeah, I mean, he's still Mike Tyson.
He's still Mike Tyson.
Jesus Christ, bite my fucking face off.
Did you see Mike Tyson versus Roy Jones Jr. like 2 years ago, a year or two ago?
Oh, he did fight then?
Yeah,
they had an exhibition. It wasn't really a fight.
Oh, okay.
They weren't trying to knock each other out.
Gotcha.
Because Roy Jones Jr. is also old.
I mean, how did he look? I know he's been training a lot since then. Did he still seem fast enough to really do this against somebody seriously trying to kill him? Not kill him, but you know.
I'm concerned. You know, he looked like he opened up a lot. Like when he went to punch, he looked vulnerable to get hit. In the training footage, he didn't look as fast as Jake Paul does. He's probably stronger. I don't know. But yeah, I'm concerned for Mike. But I also, you know, if Mike Tyson beats Jake Paul, that kind of derails the Jake Paul train, you know?
Yeah,
it does.
Yeah, you just got beat by somebody's grandpa.
But I mean, this isn't just anybody's grandpa. Like this is the legendary Mike Tyson.
He's still Iron Mike.
I think for boxing purposes, it's good to keep him around because he gets more people interested in boxing.
Right, and more people like us, right? More people who don't watch it or think about it. We're talking about it and we're thinking about it. And we have for a couple weeks now.
2 shows in a row, yeah, exactly.
The story is hella interesting. It's a giant payday for both of them. It's going to be on Netflix, which is a brand new thing. Netflix doing sports. I mean, so those things are really cool. And I think the social media following of Jake Paul, the social just general following of Mike Tyson, Netflix is right on the money, like on the money with what they're selling. They're selling a spectacle, and it's going to be a fucking spectacle.
I mean, now it just has to be a good fight, right? If it is, everybody.
Does it though?
I think so. Because I mean, if it does,
it kind of does. It kind of probably has to last at least 3 or 4 rounds.
No, here's the thing. Okay,
everybody
50-4. How many? And I could look it up. The research department could go check that out. But how many pay-per-view now? So completely disappointing pay-per-view back in the 90s. First round knockouts did Mike Tyson have?
So many.
So many. You pay people $40, spending like $40 for a fight, and more than it's over in 2 minutes.
Yeah,
I think his first 13 professional fights were all knockouts, and it happened in 12 months.
Yeah.
Woo!
Oh my god,
motherfuck!
So this is making me think.
He didn't break a sweat in those fights.
Jake Paul
was almost all of them were first round knockouts.
Wow, that's insane.
12.
Huh.
12. That's what it says. Tyson's official fighting ran 20 years, 37-0 at the beginning of his career. He won his first 19 professional fights, including... So of his first 19 professional fights, 12 of them were first-round knockouts.
Holy shit.
Woo! That's
and probably the other 7 were second round.
Yeah, so this is going to be...
second or third.
Right. So for Rand Paul to survive this fight, right, his odds
Did you say Rand Paul?
Sorry.
He did, but that's fine. That's not one of the brothers.
Fight I would see. That's the fight I would see.
Sorry.
I would get Netflix for Rand Paul versus Mike Tyson.
Yes. No. Oh my gosh. Okay. But yeah, so Jake Paul's chances of survival, right, increases a lot. Like his odds to win, right, go up the longer he can survive. It's a battle of attrition for him, right? Can he outlast
100%.
Tyson's? And
I
that's
don't think so.
you don't think so?
You don't think
Really?
I think Mike Tyson can knock him out if in his sleep.
Wow. Okay.
I think he can knock him out at the end of the 8th round if he's been beaten and battered no matter what. I think he's got that knockout power any
Gotcha.
time of the fight.
Okay. So even
I think it's the opposite. I think
Okay.
Jake Paul, after 5 or 6 rounds, is going to slow down and drop his hands a little. And
Okay.
Interesting.
So I was approaching this all wrong, thinking if I was fighting, I was like, in my head, I was kind of going from my only boxing experience, which was Mike Tyson's Punch Out from Nintendo, where if you could survive the first round against Mike Tyson in that game, you had a much better chance of winning, because if you missed one dodge of his punch, you were done. Game over.
I love that game. We're at time, by the
But
way, and that's a good
you
thing to
have
end on.
You have to dodge every single punch. You
Yes.
have to be on point every second of the fight.
Every time. Yep. That was
Yeah.
so fucking hard as a kid.
I mean, and it probably is going to be Jake Paul's game plan.
Yeah.
But we got to move on. We're over time.
All right.
All right, guys, you want to help me with this? I'm going to do the DuckTales, but it's going to be next topic. So ready?
Okay.
A next topic. Woo! Woo! That's pretty good.
Good enough.
Anyway, it's been 8 full months since the TKO group merged the WWE and UFC, respectively. Now, we've seen the WWE blossom after a record-setting live events and attendance and revenue leading up to this past WrestleMania. WWE has also expanded into more televised events overseas, including the most recent premium live event in France and more to come in Saudi Arabia and Scotland. Now, while I am an avidly big WWE fan, I'm kind of more of a casual fan of UFC. And it's been a long time since the days of Nate Diaz, Conor McGregor, and Ken Shamrock. And I couldn't honestly really name one fighter in UFC, I'm a little naive in that. So everyone, and I apologize, Paul. So everyone, but mainly Paul, is UFC benefiting from the TKO merger as much as WWE is, and what else needs to happen for UFC to grow more?
Yeah, I think having such like a strong backing, like umbrella parent company like that is great.
Huge.
You know, because like they can screw up a couple pay-per-views and not worry about, like, you know, now people will always invest and try and buy UFC, right? Like they did. You know, they're probably gonna get like better like you know,
like media coverage and all that.
Media coverage
yeah.
and all that. Yeah, definitely gonna get better media. And
I mean, we've already seen it. I think it's like Sports Center. Pretty much, they show all the results of UFC pay-per-views, and they're even airing a lot of UFC fights as well.
It's very highly gambleable too. We're talking about DraftKings and FanDuel for all this time. Very highly bettable.
Well, it boosts not only the volume, but probably, you know, the payouts and money for those bets too, because the profile has risen.
Yeah, for sure.
It probably boosts fighter pay also.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Well, when I think that something new, what the WWE gives them, and maybe not credibility, but it gives them stability, right? So the WWE has always been a cash cow, like a total cash cow. They make a ton of money, and they do it because they show all the time, and they're very, you know, they have 4 different shows now, and those shows tour, and people show up, and that has tons of TV coverage. And I mean, it's a marketing machine, right? And maybe previously before the merger, but UFC has not been as much of a marketing machine, except for its very, very big stars, the Ronda Rouseys, the Conor McGregors, the people who everybody knows their name, right? Those fights that actually get the big coverage. And so what I think what it does is it brings us to kind of a professional fighting point where people are looking to the same place for this thing, which I think helps a lot, really, right? We love standardization in America. We love everything. We love when we look at a thing and we expect it to be a thing that it looks like that. And so I think it's very helpful, honestly.
Yeah, I agree. I think fighter pay increase, more media coverage, and also like a retirement outlet for fighters. Like
Yeah,
it
Mm.
kind
yeah.
of like connects them, and also the possibility of like crossing like some way like talent.
Hmm. Yeah, that makes
Maybe like fighters that are active currently can still like do shows in the WWE.
And there's been a lot of rumblings about that actually. Like, I mean, we've seen former UFC fighters go into WWE, like we said, Ronda Rousey. I said Ken Shamrock earlier. Bobby Lashley has also had some UFC time. Brock Lesnar had some UFC time. So we've seen that it's possible. We haven't quite seen that yet. Like we haven't seen a UFC dump directly into or to do both in UFC and WWE, but something tells me that is forthcoming.
I bet Riddle could. Riddle's in great shape.
Well, Riddle's not in the WWE anymore.
He was a beast, though. I mean, and Paul, correct me if I'm wrong. It wasn't Matt Riddle a former welterweight champion?
Matt Riddle, I have no idea who that is. I used to be a heavy WWE fan, but
Yeah.
I haven't watched in a while.
He had a big MMA background, and I believe he was a champion. I welterweight sounds a little bit too small. Like he
It
was.
wasn't in the UFC, was it?
Yeah,
don't believe it was
welterweight champion.
UFC.
I looked it up.
I don't believe it was
know
UFC.
guys, I don't know shit about fighting. I looked it up and I pretend, but so that is what it is.
No, but when Matt Riddle first was like before he signed with WWE, he was a well sought out like prize fighter in not only WWE and UFC and all the other wrestling outlets, and like he was definitely well sought out. After that,
Let's think about the big stars, right? The Rondas and Brock. Brock's a big fucking UFC star that came over and had a ton of success in the WWE.
Went back to UFC.
Yeah, went back to
WWE.
UFC. Yeah, and Ken Shamrock, who's the name that everybody knows, but Ken Shamrock probably the most famous UFC fighter that had success in the WWE. So I think that it is a consistent crossover, and they saw it, and I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons that the investiture happened and the merger happened, because it was already happening. They just had to do it. Anyway, I interrupted you, Mark.
I do have some stats. So within the last 12 months, people aged between 18 and 29, a very key demographic, so that demographic has gone up 10.63% in the last 12 months for UFC pay-per-views. Overall, so let's see, UFC 251, so this was a while ago, had almost 1 million viewers. Meanwhile, just 6 years ago, the average UFC pay-per-view was 447,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's more than double.
That's more than double.
Yeah, that's awesome.
How long ago was that?
6 years ago. Average in 2018.
Years?
Average in 2018.
Wow.
I think it's like the fastest growing sport ever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
I will say this. I think UFC has to steal some things from WWE. Like the marketing in WWE is amazing.
It was a marketing machine.
It's a marketing machine. It's just it's up there with the NFL with returns to marketing. UFC's marketing isn't quite up there, I think, because again, I'm a very casual fan. I couldn't really name anyone in the UFC right now. Again, I'm a little bit more biased towards wrestling. I've been a wrestling fan for a while, but
you can't, and I think what helps WWE a lot is we have scripted storylines, right? Scripted storylines and scripted conflict. I think that with real fighting, you can still have conflict, right? And I think they try to do that in a lot of the weigh-ins, and the weigh-ins have gotten a lot more confrontational.
So those are some of the best fights. Is the hype and the build up for the fight. That's why we want to see Tyson and Paul, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, and so and I don't know if this is on purpose or not, but you see UFC fighters now really get in each other's faces, and they're pulling a page from WWE where they're like talking shit and they're stepping up, and I mean they're really trying to make it very confrontational, and I think that helps a lot. Honestly, I think when we see guys that seem to hate each other, even if they do or not, it makes us want to watch the fight more. And we're at time.
You ever seen the crazy Russian MMA weigh-ins?
No, tell us. I'm so excited.
They fight at weigh-ins. They knock each other out. It's insane.
Oh, yeah, that's awesome. Fucking
I think
Russians.
they're crazy. I think there's a lot of marketing for UFC fighters. it doesn't get seen. Like
Yeah.
they follow them for 8 weeks before the fight. Like there's this thing called UFC Embedded, where they follow like the all the fighters on the main event for like 8 weeks, and they document their life, their training, their diet, their personal life. Like
That's cool.
there's a lot of marketing.
There was a reality show for a while, right? That like went
Ultimate
into
Fighter.
The Ultimate Fighter.
Ultimate
That thing was
Fighter,
fucking
yeah.
intense.
I do remember that.
That's huge marketing.
They still have it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they still do it. Yeah.
Now,
Right.
one thing that WWE does, and I know we're at time,
we're
they have regular TV shows all the time that a lot of people can see. Meanwhile, most of the time, most people can really only see UFC fights on pay-per-view. Sometimes the highlights on SportsCenter.
Yeah, I think you gotta have like a ESPN Plus subscription.
You gotta have a subscription just to see
We're
it.
getting picked up by like basic cable. I think was a real masterstroke
Huge.
for WWE.
Oh yeah, of course.
Anyway, give me a next topic,
It's
Mark.
good to be on a network.
Don't worry, we're gonna keep talking about fighting, Paul. I got you.
Oh, I love WWE. I grew up wanting to be a WWE superstar. That's what got me
Nice.
into boxing, and then eventually into MMA. I started learning boxing when I found out WWE was fake, but
It's okay. You go all fake.
Scripted.
It's all
Scripted.
good.
Just scripted.
They're not really
Yeah, when
getting punched all the time.
Yeah, but like recently too, you see like a whole bunch of very big WWE stars getting like really bad injuries. Like, what's your face got
they
punched
hit
in the
each
face?
other.
Yeah, yeah.
See Ronda Rousey like hitting her opponents.
Oh yeah.
She's like, I don't know what the difference is.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
I'm ready. Are you
We
ready?
fell in love with the next topic. We fell in love with the next topic.
Nice.
Mark, I love that you're coming prepared. So we're going to keep up this MMA talk and really connects exactly to the last question. The notorious Conor McGregor continues his comeback tour after appearing as the villain in the film Roadhouse earlier this year. UFC President Dana White announces that McGregor's return bout at UFC 303 versus Michael Chandler is the highest gate in company history at well over $20 million. Also, this is now 3 of the 5 highest gates that have had McGregor to be part of the main event. So after a 3-year break, after his leg was broken fighting Dustin Poirier, and a freak accident last year where he got hit by a car and then asked the man who hit him for a ride home, is McGregor ready for another main event? What are his chances against a tough opponent in Michael Chandler? And again, you're going to start this one, Paul.
Did you see the video of him getting hit by the car?
I did. That is intense. He literally just like gets the fuck up and he's just like,
Yeah, he didn't seem too battered by it.
he didn't seem sad. And he got hit. His bike was fucked. He got hit so hard.
It looks like a really good bike too.
Damn.
Yeah, right. It's
I
Conor
hope
McGregor,
so.
Of course,
Yeah,
of
he
course
makes
it
a
was
lot
a
of
good
money.
bike.
Yeah, he's such a epic, like, future Hall of Famer, like legendary fighter. I hope he's like training and taking it serious. I hope, he's going up in weight, so I hope the weight class isn't too big for him. Michael Chandler is very dangerous. I hope he doesn't get caught.
Chandler has a great record. I mean, Chandler's a dangerous fighter, and the problem, little tiny Irishman Conor McGregor is only 5'9", 5'9", 170. He's a tiny little man.
Oh.
He's almost as tiny as I am.
See, I could see him going up in weight if he had the frame for it, right? The reach, but like, does he not? I don't know. Does that seem like a mismatch? Not having enough just height or length.
I don't know the stats. I would imagine they're around the same height. I don't know. Well, that helped McGregor in his previous.
Actually, Chandler's smaller. Chandler's 5'8".
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, so they're both pretty short. There you go.
So Connor's a giant.
Tiny little babies.
He
But
was
anyway.
really tall for the weight classes that he was in before. He
Okay.
had won 2 championships in 2 different weight classes, and he was pretty tall for both of them.
Gotcha.
He had a longer reach most of the time than everyone.
Yeah, Chandler's 23-8. I mean, Chandler's a beast.
Yeah, but
That's
he
pretty
does
good.
kind of put his chin out there. He kind of puts himself like in dangerous situations,
Okay.
I love
it's
that.
kind of like you like the knockout or get knocked out style.
Well, I was also gonna say like no, like I love having you like the analysis. Like when you watch these fights, are you just constantly looking for stuff like that? You're like, oh, like they're open on this punch, or like the way that they're angled here, like is not good, or it's really good. Like you notice that stuff on the fly, probably even when you're watching it from your TV.
Yeah, I have a pretty good eye for that kind of stuff. I can watch someone and be like, oh, his right hand is down, or he's
Yeah.
open to this, or you know, kind of like.
Do you think that McGregor's ready to come back? Because I mean, he hasn't really been active since the
3
leg
years,
break,
right? Yeah.
You know,
And how does an injury like that, like how does a major like bodily physical injury during a fight affect you mentally?
definitely mentally, but more physically probably, because like his leg is not going to be 100% ever again, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I can't believe he's allowed to fight with a titanium rod in his shin. You know, like
Oh fuck! Right.
Oh
I
damn.
mean,
Yeah.
that makes him a very dangerous man.
you know. Also, it makes it susceptible to probably break again too, right? So
Right.
Yeah. Right. Not there, but like right the bone it's adjacent to it.
he left the USADA testing pool for quite some time after he broke his leg, and is speculated so that way he can get on some type of supplements that weren't allowed in the UFC to help him heal from breaking the leg, which also aided in his growth. Right, he looks much bigger nowadays than he did when he was fighting. Yeah, I just hope I hope he's prepared and that he doesn't ruin his legacy, because he's like lost 2 fights already in a row, right?
Yeah, his last 2 he lost.
Against Dustin Poirier, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Poirier's the guy who broke his leg, and his last fight.
Yeah. Well, I think he broke his leg on Poirier.
No.
I didn't realize that was only 3 years ago. It feels like a lot longer.
Yeah.
Well, before that, I think he beat Cowboy Cerrone, right?
Yep.
I don't know if you guys know that.
I researched.
John knows it.
And he beat Cowboy Cerrone, which is a better test for him. Cowboy Cerrone probably isn't as dangerous as Dustin Poirier or Michael Chandler. He should probably be coming back against someone who's smaller and not as dangerous. But if he can like beat Michael Chandler and then go for the belt in this new weight class, he can beat 3 division champ and like.
And I think that's the plan, right? I mean, Chandler's a good test for the championship, and I think he wants to win the championship.
Oh,
because he wants to be
absolutely.
famous again. Because he
wants
was
another title. Yeah.
he was pretty famous for a minute. And so before we're done, did you see Roadhouse?
Did not.
Okay, so it's on Prime. Roadhouse is great. It's about a washed-up UFC fighter who fights another crazy motherfucker who happens to be Conor McGregor in Florida, because of course Florida.
Right, Jake Gyllenhaal was the UFC fighter.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes, he
Jake
was.
Gyllenhaal. It's
Right? You
really
see them?
very entertaining, and Jake Gyllenhaal got fucking jacked for this role.
Did you see them film it in the UFC cage?
No.
They did it in during a pay-per-view. They didn't tell the fans. They just bought them out, filmed it real quick, and then kicked them out.
Really?
Oh shit. That's
Wow.
crazy.
It was really
I
cool.
mean,
Huh.
yeah,
It was
they
really cool.
have a bunch of like actual like flashbacks into when this character was in the UFC, and so they brought him back and forth, and he like they talk about an interesting thing in this show, in this movie, that is where this dude is. He's not a good dude, but you know, he talks about that switch you were talking about, where you just like you can't like the McGregor character is like, this guy was your friend, right? And he like really hurts him, and you just can't control yourself, right? And so that's the question of this, like the PTSD that comes from fighting at such a high level, and that's like, you know, feels very real in retrospect from someone who doesn't know anything about it.
Yeah, I don't know if most fighters like will like lose it and go on like a violent rampage. But probably a lot of them have that in them.
I think most is an overstep, and I don't think that's what the movie itself is questioning. It's like some, and if they do have that capability, you can. I don't know. It was an interesting angle, certainly, and I think that the movie itself is very entertaining.
It definitely, if I don't like get all that aggression out, like in training, I definitely become a little more snappy in like my day to day life.
That
Like,
makes sense.
Yeah.
like I need to get that angst out, that aggression out for sure.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
Don't we?
You got a lot of
Aggression
angst,
release
Mark.
therapy. Aggression release
fuck yeah.
therapy is a real thing.
Yeah.
I got a
It was
punching bag in my
Well, it's-
my home gym.
I mean,
it works wonders.
It's the best release of endorphins when you just literally like push yourself like that too.
You're the best release of endorphins.
Thank you.
That's gross.
Yeah.
That's Melanie has a thing with someone. She just anytime somebody goes over a line, she just says list, Mark, list.
We like to thank another.
We're gonna have to call HR, Mark. We
Yeah, I
have to
know.
talk about our HR call.
We'd like to thank another fake sponsor, Skyfly Drones. Capture every play with Skyfly Drones. Our drones are equipped with HD cameras to record your sports adventures from a spectacular aerial view. Skyfly, the sky's the limit.
Well, I want one of those when I'm going skiing to follow me around.
All right. Don't stop, make it pop. It's the next topic spot.
Oh, that was good. I like that one.
It's my
Mark,
turn.
I love it that you're coming prepared, man. Seriously.
Kesha there.
So we're gonna do a little throwback topic and something that we kind of foreshadowed a little earlier.
Throwback.
Heavyweight boxing matches used to be huge spectacles with athletes like Rocky Marciano, Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, George Foreman, the aforementioned Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, and Lennox Lewis. Now, since I'm old, and many of you probably haven't heard of any of those names, with the exception of Iron Mike, I would definitely be at a loss for words to name a current heavyweight boxer aside from Tyson Fury. So, everyone, why did the hype for heavyweight boxing bouts kind of disappear?
Because nobody buys pay-per-view anymore.
I was gonna say it probably went with the way that it was displayed, right? The whole model of it. As we went away from pay-per-view right around, into the 2000s, into the birth of like streaming internet, like the internet exploding, right?
Yeah.
I don't think
boxing
boxing ever
in
made
general,
that transition.
No, but it's a very old school sport, right? I mean, I do love this though. I love a good boxing movie. Like they just reel you in, and you just want to cheer for
The Creed movies are
the underdog.
fucking great.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The Creed movies are fucking great.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Steph had never seen $1 Million Baby until a year or two ago.
I love $1 Million
Oh my
Baby.
God. It's
so
such
sad.
a sad movie, though.
It's so sad, but it's so good.
So yeah, I definitely had to show her that one.
But in all seriousness, probably the last big name in boxing. I mean Tyson Fury, yeah, he's the big name, but I don't really know. Aside, I mean, he's had a few fights with Deontay Wilder.
Yeah, I was gonna say you probably heard of Deontay Wilder.
I just
But
mentioned
those have been
Deontay Wilder.
those fights have kind of been jokes, right?
No, those were crazy fights. I mean, Tyson
know.
Fury got knocked out in the last round and then got back up and continued to beat Wilder. Like he got
Yeah, that was a good fight.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, he
you
said
saw that.
Fury got mad.
Fury got knocked down like in the 12th round and looked to be like dead, and then got up and beat Wilder.
Wow.
Yeah.
How do you
Was that,
like?
Then in the second fight, just completely like backed him up and manhandled him.
Oh yeah, it was and I love how Wilder kind of blamed his the equipment that he wore like
That
before
was
the match.
hilarious. What an excuse!
It was so heavy.
Oh, come
Poor
on.
excuse.
That's like me saying my golf clubs aren't good enough.
Yeah. Don't blame the
to,
fools.
again, compare boxing to golf, which is the stupidest thing ever. I apologize.
It's like soldiers carrying their equipment, like like,
Right.
We know what we know.
They just
We
have
know
to do
what we
it.
know.
Right, they train for that shit.
That was a cringe excuse
Yeah.
for Beyonce. But Anthony Joshua.
I do not know him.
I don't.
Ah,
I'm sorry.
I'm listen.
Yeah.
I'm again. I used to be a kind of a pretty serious boxing fan, but now I've become a more casual one, and you know, that we've kind of seen more people are going towards UFC than they were boxing. And I mean, boxing, again, it used to be a huge spectacle. People would get dressed to the nines to go to these fights, go to like Madison Square Garden or MGM Grand in Vegas. I couldn't tell you, aside from like the last big hyped fight, with the exception of the last time that Wilder and Fury fought.
Some people blame it on the times, and they say like, "Oh, people like young men nowadays aren't as into those type of things anymore." Some people blame Vladimir Klitschko for being such a boring fighter.
He was like the best, but also the worst heavyweight champ ever.
Well, he was champ for like 10 years, right?
A while. He was champ for a while.
Yeah, but there's no turnover that can kind of make things stale.
You know, another thing I don't remember actually if it was Vladimir or his brother. I mean, they're so tall, and one of them dated Hayden Panettiere for a while, who's like this really short, tiny actress, and I was like, come on.
She was bite-sized.
Yeah.
Especially compared to one of the Klitschkos. I think it was Vladimir, but I could be wrong.
It was Vladimir.
Okay.
I remember that. Hayden Panettiere, by the way, is very short at...
Tell us, research department.
I thought that was going to tell me. I have to press I have to do more buttons
I'm going to guess she's 5'3".
I think she's shorter than that.
Shorter than that. Wow.
5 foot even.
Wow. She's smaller than I thought. But... In Heroes,
and Klitschko was what, 6'4"?
And Klitschko they were married. Klitschko was her
huge
husband.
Difference. Holy cow. I mean, she is invulnerable though in Heroes.
Who are the short kings supposed to date if they're dating these tall people? Come on.
We date anybody we want, Mark. It's all about confidence.
But I digress.
Yeah. He's 6'6". He's 6'6", by the way. Jesus Christ, he's 6'6".
6'6".
Jesus,
a foot and a half. That's a whole
Paul,
foot
how do
and a
you
half.
fight someone who's 6'6"?
Crotch sniff.
We brought it back, ladies and gentlemen. That was beautiful.
All around.
We went there.
That was amazing.
30 seconds. I think that's worth ending
wow,
there.
No, that's definitely worth ending.
How do we continue after that? That was perfect.
Always got to end on the crotch sniff.
Okay, Mark, I got one if you need a break.
Go ahead.
Can't get enough of that next topic.
Nice. So, guys, I promised you, if it keeps going, we're going to talk about it every week. So, as promised, another week.
Here we go.
Another Knicks topic after a long weekend.
Oh, we could have said next topic instead of next topic.
Yes.
Oh, that was a missed opportunity.
Wait.
So
yeah, just put... Yeah.
Nice. Oh, we have a sound for it.
We have a high 5 sound for that.
Fuck yeah. All right.
Okay.
So after a long weekend, and I had a little doubt, which included a 40-point blowout loss.
Yeah.
A drubbing versus the Pacers in Indianapolis. The Knicks, again, showed the hustle and grit that have them up now 3-2 in the Eastern Conference semifinals, as well as future MVP, my boy, Jalen fucking Brunson has now recorded his 5th 40-point postseason game, which is one behind the all-time record.
Don't say it.
Set by the great Bernard King in 1984, and I'm gonna fucking say
Jordan.
it.
I thought you were gonna mention Jordan.
It's not Jordan's record. It's Bernard King's record. Brunson has more than Michael fucking Jordan. And so, did the next Game 5 energy come from the much-needed rest that the blowout in Game 4 gave them, with 2 very long physical series under their belt? If they win this one, do they have a chance against Mark's Boston Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals? Which, by the way, would be the first time they get to the finals since 2000.
So, absolutely. Because, listen, most of the starters have been playing over 40 minutes, and they've just
It's the Thibodeau way, baby.
It's the Thibodeau way. He just runs them into the ground. So, what happened during that 40-point drubbing? They didn't play the fourth quarter. Yeah, they
didn't
rested.
play the third quarter. They didn't even play the third quarter.
Wow.
They rested.
Yeah.
And
I mean, if the game's out of hand already, it's probably a smart idea.
They looked great in Game 5.
They were rejuvenated and had so much energy.
That's a good move.
Isaiah Hartenstein, by the way, 16 rebounds in Game 5, 12 of them offensive. 12 offensive rebounds, which another New York Knicks record.
Mm-hmm. Now we're airing this, but we're before game six.
Game five
Game six
or game six. That is tomorrow. Tomorrow being Friday.
So when this comes out on audio, game 6 would have already happened. We're kind of predicting a Knicks victory during game 6, right, John? Yeah.
I'm predicting all Knicks victories all the time. Will it into existence?
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, that time that they sat on the bench is going to probably be good for a couple games at the very least, and then if assuming they do win game 6, there'll be a little bit of a hiatus before the series starts in Boston.
But you guys will also be done.
Oh, absolutely. We've been done.
Right. I mean, you're done.
They won last night. Okay,
right, so that's over. Because
it was a blessing in disguise because Donovan Mitchell has been hurt the past couple games. I think that series would have gone at least 6 games if Donovan Mitchell was playing.
Too. The Cavs didn't look good, but Donovan Mitchell being their best player, I don't think that was.
But the Cavs fought very well without him, and those were the games 4 and 5.
You mean the one game they won?
No. Donovan Mitchell played in that game. But the 2 games that Donovan Mitchell didn't play, so Evan Mobley was like their primary defender, and those games were actually close.
Yeah.
Or closer than all the other blowouts that the Celtics had. So
I'm gonna
it'll be a fight.
Listen, man, I don't mind buying you scotch, and the scotch bet still exists. But while I am gonna make the scotch bet, I don't think the Knicks beat the Celtics in the.
They're gonna if at the rate that they're going, they're gonna get worn out, right? Especially if the series goes 7 games.
It's not gonna go. It's gonna go 6. They're gonna.
Celtics. One thing that the Celtics have over most other teams is they're deep.
Yeah.
They play at least 10 guys every game.
Well, that seems kind of unheard of.
I mean,
NBA,
so while the Knicks and the Thibodeau way have, Jalen Brunson playing 40 minutes and Josh Hart playing 40 minutes and Dante DiVincenzo playing 40 minutes, Miles McBride is having a great series, and Isaiah Hartenstein, while being the starter now, was not a starter at the beginning of the year, was not even a role player at the beginning of the year, and he is literally winning playoff games with his hustle. The one guy, Dante Booker, I think is the name, just threes all day, man. Threes all day. I have faith in the Nova Knicks, baby. Faith.
It's so cute when John has faith in the Knicks.
Fuck. So excited.
It's so cute.
Remember, mid-season, you told me the Knicks were full of shit.
They are full of shit. They haven't really faced anyone yet.
I don't know, man. If by anyone you mean the Boston Celtics, we'll see.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. Paul, Knicks fan, right? Knicks fan.
New York.
Mark can go fuck himself.
Of course. Oh. New York sticks together. New York sticks together.
Baby.
Paul, have you ever been to a Knicks game?
Nope.
So John and I went to a Knicks game when we were young men.
I mean, younger men, still after college.
This was one of the favorite games I've ever been to.
It was so fun.
This was back when Stephon Marbury was a Knick and Ray Allen was on the Bucks. And John and I, we got a little drunk. And by little, I mean a lot. We just kept yelling at Ray Allen to just shoot the ball wherever he was. And more often than not, he did, because the Bucks
Ray Allen
sucked.
loves to shoot the ball.
The Bucks sucked. So Ray Allen was like, all right, I'll shoot it. He'd be like half court. And John and I would seriously yell, like, you're open, shoot it!
I remember you guys heckling him for that.
Oh my God. That was such a fun game.
The Garden's
such a
fun
game.
That's awesome.
I mean, I think arena sports in general, if you're close enough, are fun.
Paul, you should try it at least once, I think. You should go to a Knick game. You'll enjoy it. Maybe you can say hi to Spike Lee for us. He's this right court side.
He was very excited during the victory.
I bet.
He is just a tiny little man.
Yeah, but his wallet's a lot bigger than mine.
Any sporting event besides MMA.
Really?
Oh, wow. Okay.
All right. So
Been to UFC in Madison Square Garden, UFC in Barclays.
Okay.
All right, so you've been to Madison Square Garden. Like, that's a pretty epic place.
So is Barclays, by the way.
Smaller than
Barclays.
Arenas
are very
small.
compact. Yeah.
Keep in mind,
cram
it's
20,000
in
people
Manhattan.
into that. Yeah, but they still cram 20,000 seats in that arena.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be much bigger.
Mhm.
It's
You got to
on
go
like
to a football
couple
game
city
for
blocks.
that. Like if you go to MetLife Stadium, that
We got a train. We got a train station
will
under that
awe you.
bitch.
Oh, let's go. We're going in the pen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Side note, I posted in our fantasy football league today. I hope Pete saw it of Josh Allen living in the new stadium, and it was really funny. So you should look.
No, I gotta see. Okay, I gotta watch.
You
that.
could look at the Bills TikTok. He's like
Yeah.
talking to the construction workers. He's like has a little like cook stove. He's
That's
like
funny.
he's like I got my golf clubs. Like
So is that
I'm
like
throwing
when
through this tire?
they tried to push Baker Mayfield living at the Browns Stadium, but Josh Allen's actually good, so it kind of works better.
I mean, it's just Bills marketing, but still, it was
Yeah.
funny as hell.
That is fun. I gotta watch that.
Gotta watch it.
Paul, yeah, just side. I was born and grew up in Buffalo, so I am, for better or worse, Bills fan and Sabres fan for life. Hence the shirt. But
It's all good, man.
yeah,
You can't be right on everything.
no. But you know what? I do like the Giants these days too, because you guys borrowed our assistant GM and our offensive coordinator, who are now your GM and coach. So there you go.
I
just noticed something. I just noticed something. Peter, you reversed again.
I'm reversed for you guys, but
Oh,
in the
but it's
stream,
okay. I
I'm
gotcha.
back.
I gotcha.
Yeah,
I
I
gotcha.
realized I have to be backwards for you guys to be frontwards for the
I
stream.
don't know what I think about Joe Shoheen, by the way. Just to...
I mean, Neighbors is awesome. I don't know why he's waiting to pick a QB.
I don't know what the fuck. Who the fuck's gonna throw him the ball, Pete?
I don't know, man.
I don't know, bro.
Tommy Cutlets.
Yeah, I mean,
Tommy fucking Cutlets all
yes.
day.
Why can't he come back? Were you a fan of this, Paul? When sorry, this is completely side.
We can talk about Tommy Cutlets anytime we want.
Derailing the topic, but when this
we're
like,
out of time, so we're just
super
talking about
Italian dude just comes out of nowhere,
Living on
and-
his mom's couch.
on his mom's couch with his agent, who looks like he's like right out of an Italian mob movie, and somehow plays extremely well for multiple games in a row
Wins
in the
3
NFL
games.
as quarterback.
Terrible ass New York Giants who didn't win any games. He wins 3 fucking games.
I was so excited for that.
Cost us the first, second, third, and fourth pick by
Yeah.
winning so much, but whatever.
Steph and I bought John a T-shirt that is just like the
love my
hand doing
shirt.
the symbol, and it says Tommy Cutlets on it. It's
I'll tell you
amazing.
what.
He was only
Whatever.
good for games.
No, I mean,
They
he
stopped
was
playing him after that.
pretty.
They faced
was-
3 awful teams.
They faced
Still.
3 off. Okay.
You got to start somewhere,
They faced 3 awful teams, but they faced awful teams before that and still lost.
right?
And they looked like a football team.
They
again.
looked fun. They were
Side note-
fun to watch.
Side note, the first home game that Tommy Cutlets played, his big giant Italian New Jersey family catered the parking lot tailgate.
Yeah,
They literally had a table with fucking chicken cutlets and meatballs and shit.
right.
And they were like, come on!
This
It's
is a
family
fairy tale
affair."
story, and I'm very sad that we are not getting it going
Yeah, it'll
into next
happen.
season.
It'll happen once what's Danny Dimes
Is
dies
he still
again.
on the roster?
Yeah, I don't know. He is still on the roster. He's
Okay,
still the backup.
okay, all right.
No,
good.
the backup's backup. He's Drew
he's
Lock's
the
backup.
third string guy.
He's the emergency QB.
In case of emergency, break glass for Italian
In
awesomeness.
case Drew Lock dies. All right.
I like the name Tommy Cutlets. It's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah, his name is Tommy DeVito.
it's right. It's perfect. Everything about
Perfect. Everything is. It's the most New Jersey story I've ever heard. I was so excited when it was happening. I was all in.
I love it.
All in. Being an Italian kid from New Jersey. Next topic.
it. Yep.
I think we just use that, don't we?
Fuck yeah, we do.
Sure.
I was ready for. I had a Brian Adams song. I was like, we're
Not-
gonna get romantic on this one, but
Well, I
no,
mean, you could do
that
it
was much
anyway
better.
because
no,
I know what.
we did it. I'll save
All
it
right.
for next time.
Okay.
All right, so in a trending story that is pretty much a microcosm of today's society, a live stream between New York and Dublin came to light recently called The Portal.
I love this story.
This had innocent intentions to connect 2 parts of the globe that would, quote, redefine the boundaries of artistic expression and connectivity, unquote. Surely enough, it didn't take long for people to test the limits of human society, with an OnlyFans model flashing from the American side and the Irish flashing other things like swastikas and images of the World Trade Center burning.
Oh shit.
As of this, the time of this taping, and today, this experiment has been suspended as they
Shut it
officially
down.
shut down the portal.
Yeah.
Shut
So
it
everyone,
down.
what do we think of the concept of the portal? And are we surprised it didn't take long for people to be inappropriate about it?
What I thought was really funny about this story is that how like millions and millions of people live in New York City. There's like 120,000 people in Dublin, and all of the Irish, the really Irish people, are like, how could we not behave? They were so pissed off that it was them that got it shut down, which is so fucking ridiculous when you think about it. That Dublin, tiny little city in County Cork, couldn't figure their shit out.
That was really good.
That was a very good Irish accent.
I have a good Irish brogue, I do.
must have been all that scotch you've been drinking.
Oh shit! I have foil
I
in
have
me.
very little too. I have very little.
In me scotch.
You've been foiled
I
by
could
your
drink
scotch.
more. I could drink more, but I think that's a bad idea. I'm pretty good.
If you approach
Good.
Mark levels of scotch drinking during the show,
What also, by the way, is really cool about this project, by the way, one of the coolest uses of technology that I think I've seen recently, and I was going to write a topic on it, and then I just didn't. When so Ireland, 6 hours ahead of New York City, so most of the not all the time, but some of the time when you were in New York City looking at the portal, it was dark in Ireland. And so if you look up, there's lots of YouTubes on the portal, but if you look it up, it's just a circle, like an actual like magical Harry Potter style circle that you just walk up to. And so people are like, there's no audio, there's just video.
It's just
so
video.
People are like putting shit on their phones, and that's what Mark was talking about, suggesting like videos and like ads and Instagram pages and websites, and people are trying to advertise their thing. But when you think about it, real-time communication between two cities, just like, let's think about the possibilities. I mean, obviously people can't be trusted, and it's the first time a piece of technology is put out in the world. But
such
what
innocent intentions of this whole idea, right? It's a phenomenal idea.
yeah.
Now, and another question, is it okay? What was the purpose? Is it an art installation? Is it a tech demo? Is it like
It was completely artistic. It was literally like an art project.
It's an art installation, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's so
I
fucking
mean,
wild.
it's not really tech savvy. It's kind of just like FaceTiming. Right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a one-time FaceTime, right?
Yeah. It's a giant FaceTime window.
But still, the idea of it was pretty cool, and it is a little bit of a shame that they didn't have audio to go with it. But I mean, because they clearly could do something like that, right?
But that does ask for a lot of inappropriate things to be transferred instead of.
They didn't need the audio.
I guess not. I guess not. They said hold my beer.
It was up for like a week.
Put the rules and regulations on it. Who's operating that, and who's allowed to shut it down? Who put it up?
Yeah,
I
I don't
believe
know.
the cities did shut it down.
Okay.
The city council of Dublin in County Cork, Ireland, literally shut it down. They were like, no.
It's too bad. We can't have nice things.
We are embarrassing ourselves on a world
But
stage.
if it was like in a place where it was France and the topless woman in New York didn't like upset them.
Because topless women are everywhere in France, right?
Yes.
Or at least it is on
Isn't it more
TV.
socially accepted over there?
Maybe.
Maybe.
There's a lot more nudity on TV in Europe. That's definitely true.
Yeah. They're like, this person is taking a shower with this soap, and they're like, we're going to film them completely naked in the shower with the soap. It's like, all right.
Fun John aside, many moons ago, I went to Italy, and I was very little. I was like 9 years old, but I was precocious. And
I saw a picture of that. It was incredible.
I have all those pictures of me in Italy, so I'm going to have to show you guys. Actually, I'm going to do some show code, and I'm going to show you the most ridiculous picture. I'll put it on the website tomorrow.
Awesome.
But it's me in Zuba pants and a pink fanny pack.
I'm a little scared where the story's going. But
You're gonna love it. No, but okay. Back to the story. So I have a clear memory, and my parents have a clear memory of me really liking this pool. I laid down at the pool. This woman come over. She sat down next to me. She just took her top off, and so just laid down, and I'm just like, and guys, and anybody.
And how old? You were 9 years old?
Yeah, I was 9 years old. You remember? Boobs.
You remember
your first set
But you
of
remember
boobs.
the magic of boobs when you were 9, 10, 12.
Somebody
and you were
like, please tell me somebody looked over to you and went, you're a man now.
That's when his testes dropped right then and there.
He's like, hello, I'm very mature now. Oh, yes, excellent.
Do you remember how you reacted to that?
I definitely remember.
Were you like gawking?
A little bit, but also I remember, and this is a story that has been told to me many times. I kept being like making excuses to go back to the pool. I was like, we were leaving, we had like a bus tour, and I was just like, I just want to see the pool again. It's so beautiful.
I have fond memories of that pool.
I have fond memories of the pool.
Oh my god!
And so
I didn't hear this story until now.
Europe,
that's just hilarious.
It's weird. Europe is weird, you guys. That's all I'm saying. Europe is weird.
It's weird, old, and amazing.
And boobs.
And
do you think? All right, going back to the topic.
Wait, there was a topic.
Do you actually think they'll turn the portal back on?
Yes.
In time.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, that's what Paul said. It's just fucking FaceTime.
And
I mean, what laws did they break? Like, why should you restrict people from showing images and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think they were
right.
It's hurtful, but it's not
hurtful.
Like,
and I guess the question too is like, what is the value add of the portal? Like, what does it give the world? Like, if it's privately owned, like, who even gives a shit? Honestly.
Yeah. I mean,
but
I guess.
I think it'll get.
Why does Chicago have
get turned back on?
Giant mirror bean sitting in the middle of a thing?
Right.
Like,
what the fuck is the mirror? What the fuck is the mirror bean about?
They don't need it, but it's freaking cool.
It'd be awesome if their mirror bean somehow
was a portal to another city.
It was a portal to another city.
Yes.
Exactly.
Like you look up inside the bean and there's a video screen to another city.
Come on, Elon Musk, think of that first.
Can we just level set for a second? We live in a world where when you fly into Las Vegas, a giant eye could be looking at you, which is a building. The giant eye is a building, you guys.
Whoa.
That's the world we live in right now. So the sphere breaks all the rules.
UFC's gonna do an event in there.
In the sphere? Fuck yeah!
Oh, that would be
every
cool.
event should be in the sphere. Every event.
I think
the
we just
NHL
need
draft
more
was in the sphere. I love the sphere.
We need more spheres.
We need more spheres.
I think Paul just suggested we do a live podcast from the sphere.
From the sphere. Amazing.
Yes.
Oh, like
just imagine.
We'll have you two as our special guests.
Just imagine a 20-story Mark face.
Oh God! Right. Like our template here for the show on YouTube is just projected on the sphere for all of Vegas to see.
Hey, Mark. Do you know what time it is?
I apologize, Paul. They do this every episode.
I love it.
It's the final topic.
Fucking love you, man.
All right.
All right, so we're going to talk about some more crazy motherfuckers. Timberwolves center Rudy Gobert was fined $75,000 for rubbing his fingers together in a money sign directed at officials during Game 4 of the semifinal series against the Denver Nuggets.
Damn.
Joe Dumars, executive VP of the NBA, deemed Gobert's actions unprofessional and took offense at him questioning the integrity of the game.
That's the second time he's done that, too.
I'm getting to it. Earlier in the season, Gobert was fined a $100,000 fine for a similar gesture. And when asked about the fine, he said he wasn't surprised and needed to get his emotions under control after a very physical game. And so, why does it seem that the NBA is being especially defensive of its referees? Do we think it's impacting players and coaches' ability and willingness to speak up against some obviously poor calls?
Yeah, this seems awfully defensive, doesn't it?
It's awfully defensive.
But they have to do that, right? They can't have their players calling out the refs, even though everyone else is. Everyone else is.
I feel like they have the most right to, though. But it isn't.
Yeah. It's.
I don't watch the NBA at all, but I do hear a lot of people complaining about the referees.
So much talk.
Yeah,
there's definitely been a lot of that lately here.
Well, you can see it in the series that the Knicks and the Pacers, and so Rick Carlisle, who is the coach of the Pacers after game 2, which had some questionable calls. I mean, and that's the thing about the NBA and the NBA playoffs specifically. Like, calls go either way. Like, game 2 was very Knicks, but game 3 was very Pacers. And obviously the home teams for each, right? You could say that. But Carlisle, he gets kicked out of game 2. He gets fined before game 3, and the Pacers win game 3, and then they win game 4 handily. And what Mark said last week, the getting kicked out for a coach is very strategical, right? They're literally like deciding when to fire their player base up and deciding when to complain and when not to complain. And I think in that respect, a new coach like Rick Carlisle has an advantage against an old school coach like Tom Thibodeau. Right? Doesn't that make sense?
Carlisle is kind of an old school coach too. He's been around for a while, and so he knew what he was doing.
Well, fucking Tibbs, man. Tibbs is the oldest coach in the NBA.
I was going to say,
he only sounds like he's the oldest coach.
I don't watch NBA either, but I know that name, right? Like, he's been around forever.
Well, Carlisle's
you know
been
Rick
around
Carlisle's
for a
from
while.
upstate New York?
Is he really?
I didn't know that, actually.
Yeah.
You know also who what the team that Rick Carlisle used to play for?
What?
The Celtics.
Hey, true story. I wanted you to say it though. I think like when you look at this, the sensitivity around the coaches and that Rick Carlisle kick out with the Knicks and the Pacers, when they asked after game 3, they asked Tibbs and Josh Hart about calls that were definitely pro Pacers. They were like, well, I like my money and I'm not going to say anything. And I think really like the impact of that, Tibbs being an old coach, like he misused his challenges, and really the goaltend at the end of that game that was definitely a goaltend that they missed was more impact was more never mind that exactly they lost by 2 points. It was more detrimental to the Knicks because they didn't have the ability to call that out. I mean, I don't know.
So wait, is this topic more about the state of NBA refereeing, or do we want to focus more on Rudy Gobert's like money gesture?
Right.
Well, I mean, I think it's a little bit of everything. I think we should talk about Rudy Gobert really trying to call out the fact that he thinks that they're all corrupt.
And you know what? He has some ammunition to go on, because there was a huge scandal in the NBA when one of the referees was totally corrupt and totally trying to bet on games.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
like in some respects, now I'm not a huge Rudy Gobert fan, but I am going to defend him on this. Like, how is making this little gesture any different than going up to a ref and complaining about the call? How is, in a lot of respects, how is that different? I guess maybe
just because the gesture is more like, we can't always hear what they're saying to the referee directly, but everybody sees the money sign.
Yeah.
But in a lot of respects, he's just doing, in a lot of respects, is just voicing his opinion about the call.
Yeah.
And it's just a different manner. Now, because there's money involved.
100% an overreaction by Gobert.
It's just because, the NBA is in so deep with all with the DraftKings and the FanDuels of the world. It's like, no, you can't bite the hand that feeds you, right?
No.
Or it's the fact that they're just they just want their players to not imply.
Do you think that the NBA wants Denver to win? I mean, what suits the NBA better? Like the Jokic and the returning champions doing well and getting to the finals?
That is a better story than the lowly Minnesota Timberwolves making it to the finals.
The Timberwolves are so cool.
They're a good team. No, they're
Anthony
a good
Edwards
team.
and the second coming of Michael Jordan. I mean, Rudy Gobert and the Twin Towers. I mean, that team is cool as fuck.
I think it's a lot easier to market a defending champion, something that hasn't been done since.
Tell us, Mark. I don't know.
Tell us, Mark. I want you to say it.
I believe it's been the Bulls.
Yeah, it was the Bulls.
That's a long
there
time.
Hasn't been a It's
really
hard.
Long?
We just talked about how hard it is to repeat in the NHL. It's really hard to repeat in the NBA because it's as much of a slog.
Yeah. Right. Yeah,
7-game series
Yeah.
throughout, all physical, all banging. I mean, literally guys punching each other in the face, straight up.
I don't think that happens in basketball normally.
No, I mean it does in the playoffs.
Punching people in the face.
I mean, not actually punching, but like
I mean, you're still
slapping,
exerting,
jumping.
You're still exerting a lot of energy, and if you're playing 40 plus minutes,
Fuck
I
yeah.
mean-
Well, yeah, I mean, right. It wears these teams down for sure.
I would
just like
love-
NHL.
I would love a Timberwolves Mavs Western Conference final. That would be great. I don't think Oklahoma City's going to lose because Shai is really kicking a lot of ass right now. But I would love that game. What's the face? Doncic looks awesome.
Yeah.
The Mavs are fucking cool as hell to watch.
I
think
fucking hate Kyrie Irving though.
Everybody hates Kyrie. But I mean, I think everybody in the Eastern Conference wants Knicks Celtics. I think we're going to get Knicks Celtics. I hope. Cross your fingers. But I don't think anybody beat.
I know that.
I don't think
Celtics are in it.
shut your fucking mouth. I told you. Nobody likes you. But I mean, I don't think anybody's going to beat anybody in the West. The West is great. The West is really, 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 really strong.
It's the wild, wild West.
Fuck yeah. 4 teams that probably are
They all
worthy.
can make it. They all
Yeah.
can make it.
And those series right now are all right at the wire. Everybody's playing great. I
Man.
love the NBA playoffs.
I need to get into this because you guys always talk about it with so much energy, and I never. Yeah.
I mean, you were too far away, man. You never had a basketball team. It doesn't
Not
count.
when I was alive. Buffalo used to, but not in my lifetime.
Right.
Yeah. I don't even know if it was in your parents' lifetime when they had an NBA.
Maybe not. It was the Buffalo Braves, I believe.
That doesn't sound like a real thing to me.
No, that was a real thing.
They had an NBA team, but you're talking right, like 50s or something. Before that, maybe even. It was a long time ago.
All right.
I'm not even sure. If
All
the
right,
Bills
we've lost our
Anyway,
audience. I don't even remember what this original topic was. Anyway,
We're sorry.
So
everybody.
that has been our topics. As a reminder, we broadcast these live on YouTube every Thursday night at 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific. If you can't catch us live, then feel free to watch
9:45.
us. Never mind that. Then feel free to watch us on our YouTube channel, www.youtube.com/@iftheseballspod. And don't forget to subscribe to us by tickling that little bell. We would like to thank our guests for joining us this week. Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
Thank
You can
so
follow or
much.
like us at our socials at If These Balls Pod on X, Instagram, Facebook, Threads, and TikTok. Our website is www.iftheseballscoulddtalkpod.com. This is Mark Pesci, and for my partner John Campagna and producer Pete Steffen, that's what we feel they would say if these balls could talk.
Night, everybody.
Later. Goodbye.